Hi, this is Cheryl Heiger, and my second grade learning stations are about the water cycle. A group of 4 students will be assigned at each station, and groups will be determined by the teacher based on their learning needs and social and communication concerns. As you can see, this is the station assignment board, and students will already be familiar with the color of their group and will look on the workstation assignment board for their station of the day. That brings us to my first workstation, which is the interactive water cycle board. And down at the bottom, I have a yellow piece of paper that lists the directions so that the group members will know what to do in this station. The way this station is completed is each group member will take a turn and read a definition about the water cycle process. Next, each group member will remove one of the vocabulary words and place it in the appropriate area of the water cycle boards. The students, if they're having trouble, can refer back to the vocabulary terms on the board if they need a hint as to where their label should be placed, or they can ask other members of the group for help in the process. Once all the vocabulary labels have a spot, they will be removed and the steps will be repeated, but each student must select a different vocabulary word to be used on the board. After that's done, each student will complete this water cycle assessment sheet. There is a word bank provided for our lower level learners and ESL students. And once that's completed, it will be placed in the learning log for teacher review. Brings us to our second station, which is my game station. Consists of 2 folder games. In this station, the group will play a trip around the water cycle and a water cycle match game. The students can play each game in pairs or groups. Directions for a trip around the water cycle are located in the middle of the board. The first player will choose a card and answer the question. If the answer is correct, the player will move their marker the number of spaces indicated on the card. If the answer is incorrect, then the turn is over and player 2 is up. There is an answer key provided so that the student can refer to it to see whether or not they have the correct answer. The second game at this station is word cycle match, and again there are the directions on the front of the folder game container. And the way this game is played, students will place all of the cards in a rows face down. The first player will flip over 2 cards, and if you have a match with a picture and a word, then you get to go again. If the cards do not match, you turn them back over and it is the next player's turn. The player with the most matches will win this game. Station 3 is a precipitation lab, and it's stored in stackable containers. Directions for this lab are on the top of the container box and also on the precipitation lab sheet. The group at this station will work in pairs, and each will take a pencil and precipitation lab sheet from the box. One of the students will be evaporation, and their job is to fill their partner's hands with cotton balls. Now, if the students aren't familiar with the term cupped hands, I've also provided a picture so that they can tell what to do with their hands. Once they've done that and the cotton balls start spilling onto the floor, they're ready to answer the questions on their precipitation lab sheet. Once all of the questions have been answered, there probably will be enough time left in this station activity. So to keep them busy, I've provided a water cycle word search and also a water cycle crossword puzzle. And here is what those documents look like. At the bottom of the water cycle word search, there's also a Another little activity for the student, they can write a sentence with one of the words on the back of this paper. I also like the water cycle crossword puzzle because it also provides a word bank for the students. So that concludes Lab Station 3. We move on to Creation Station 4, which is a water cycle word book. This would be a great station for lower level students to begin working with, because this book can also be used as a resource for the other stations, which is something that I didn't mention earlier. So what's going to happen in this station is each student will take one copy of this book and they will draw a picture of the vocabulary word on each page and write a definition down here in their own words. There are also blank pages at the end of the document where the student can write their own notes or things that they really want to remember or maybe enjoyed about the water cycle. Once that's done, these students will put the book in their learning log for me to review, and they'll be able to work on it during any additional free time that we may have throughout the day, because this can be a pretty extensive workstation. One thing I didn't mention before about the precipitation lab, the students will also put their precipitation lab sheets and word search or crossword puzzle, whichever they prefer to do. That would also be put in that red learning log folder as well. Our next station is an art station that I've stored in a bucket. Again, on the yellow sheet are the directions for this learning station. And what will happen here is the students will create a water cycle diagram using their knowledge of the process. Here are the supplies that are easily stored, the lids, and they can just put them back in the bucket. I will have a diagram also created, or they can refer to their My Water Cycle book that they just created in the previous station. They can look at the interactive station or our science word wall words to help them if they aren't familiar quite yet with some of the terms that are involved with the water cycle process. So on the right hand side you have the diagram, and on the left hand side is a sheet of paper where they will list 3 facts of their choice about the water cycle. The students will be instructed to leave this creation here for the teacher collect, because I will post them on the classroom bulletin board listed outside our door. The last station that we have, station number 6, is a computer station. And as you see right here, again in yellow, are the directions for this station. In this group, the students will work individually at their computers using the headphones. And what will happen is they will click on a water cycle folder. And in this case, I've already pulled up the document. So once they click on the Word document, it will take them to this YouTube video that they will play and watch. This would be an excellent station for my lower level learners, ESL students, students with dyslexia. It is a visual, audible, and in a minute, as you will see, a kinesthetic learning station. So it benefits all levels of learning. And I'll just play a little snippet of this water cycle video.
Somewhere out there, the sun is shining in a little puddle. That's just part of something that we call the water cycle. Water from a little puddle turns to gas, evaporation. The gas forms into puffy clouds, condensation.
Okay, so you get the idea about the video. And once they're done watching this, the next step in the direction is they are going to learn a water cycle song. And there will be these song sheets provided next to the computer station, or they can look at this document online. The water cycle song is sung to the tune of She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain. And if students aren't familiar with that term, in the instructions provided on the yellow sheet, I did make a reference that there is a WAV file that will be on the desktops that students can click on that actually plays the tune She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain. But as the students learn this song, there are also hand movements that go along with it, as you will see. So I thought that this is a very catchy way, a fun way for the students to learn about the water cycle. For our gifted and talented students, they might be prompted to create their own song, something similar to this, that they can share with the class. And once they're done with this station, at the end of the week, all groups should have rotated through each of the workstations. And as a class, we will collectively sing the water cycle song using the coordinated hand movements that we learned, and that will conclude our unit on the water cycle for the week. And this also concludes my workstation presentation. My references will be posted to the discussion board. I thank you for your time, and please feel free to call me with any questions. Thank you.